Your soul takes on the color of your thoughts. I want you to just let that sink in for a moment. This is this incredibly profound piece of ancient wisdom from the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius, and he wrote it nearly 2,000 years ago in his personal journal, Meditations. It's such a powerful reminder that the quality of our mind is completely dictated by what we actively choose to focus on. Our thoughts, they aren't just these fleeting clouds passing by. They're literally the paint that colors our entire reality.
But, that brings us to a kind of uncomfortable question, and it's one I genuinely want you to ask yourself right now. Are you truly in control of your own mind? Or are you letting the whirling chaos from the outside world dictate your inner peace? Are you the one piloting your daily decisions? Or are external pressures, anxieties, and the expectations of other people sitting at the wheel?
Well, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're doing something really exciting. We are synthesizing over 2 millennia of human wisdom, taking the absolute best from the battlefields of ancient Roman philosophy all the way to the cutting-edge laboratories of modern neuroscience, and turning it into a single, actionable framework. Basically, we're going to figure out exactly how to take the wheel back.
So here is our roadmap for today. 1. The quest for self-actualization. 2. Unmasking our hidden obstacles. 3. The approval-seeking trap. 4. Ancient tools for mind control. And 5. Training your willpower. Okay, part 1. The quest for self-actualization, reaching our full potential. So what is it we're all ultimately striving for here? Well, the answer lies in self-actualization. Humanistic psychologists like Abraham Maslow and Carl Rogers completely shifted how we view human motivation. They argue that human nature is inherently good, and our most profound fundamental drive is to realize our whole capacity and potential. But, as Maslow pointed out in his famous hierarchy, this is the very peak of the mountain. You can really only begin this ultimate quest after your basic physiological needs, food and safety, and your psychological needs, like belonging, love, and self-respect, are met. Rogers emphasized that to reach this state, a person has to overcome massive internal and environmental obstacles. It takes clarity, a deep sense of freedom, and living life fully. But if that's our natural tendency, why is it so incredibly hard to actually pull off?
That brings us to part 2. Unmasking our hidden obstacles, the dragons in our way. To actually reach our full potential, we have to unmask the very real, modern obstacles that are actively holding us back right now. Take a look at the number 748. That represents the scale of a massive 2018 qualitative study out of Gazi University. Researchers sat down and asked 748 college students, so young adults right in the prime transition period of their lives, what exactly was preventing them from reaching their full potential and self-actualizing. And the raw data from this study is absolutely fascinating because it so heavily validates our shared human experience. You can see exactly what those students reported. The biggest, most frequent barriers, they weren't a lack of talent or resources, they were intensely personal, internal obstacles. We're talking about neurotic tendencies like crippling perfectionism, pessimism, acute anxiety, and just feeling fundamentally insecure. Over and over again, these students reported a profound lack of self-confidence and an inability to cope with problems as the primary dragons blocking their path. And these internal conflicts, the gap between a person's desire to grow and what they're actually experiencing, can cause severe psychological dysfunction. But, of course, it's not all just in our heads. The study also highlighted deep-seated blocks that originate from external factors, specifically from our upbringing. Think about the impact of negative parental attitudes. When kids grow up facing authoritarian attitudes, impossibly high expectations, or just a fundamental lack of unconditional acceptance from their parents, it creates a massive barrier to their ego development. Carl Rogers noted that if a child only feels valuable under certain conditions, they become absolutely terrified of rejection, and because of that, they just can't fully express themselves. And that leads right into part 3, the approval-seeking trap, giving your power away. That deeply rooted fear of rejection transitions seamlessly into one of the most toxic social obstacles those students identified, worrying about what people would say. It's wild how perfectly the ancient Stoic philosopher Epictetus diagnoses this exact anxiety of our modern social expectations. Think about it. When you chase external validation, when you start thinking, if this person thinks I'm great, then I can feel great, you are literally giving your power away. You're allowing your own emotional system to be owned by somebody else. Epictetus warned that when you chase after approval, you inevitably start changing your natural personality just to get that validation drug. And the very moment you do that, you've compromised your integrity. So what's the Stoic solution? Become your own internal witness. Develop self-trust and learn to view your own opinion of your life just as highly as anyone else's.
Seriously, I want you to pause and internalize these two questions. What do I think about this, and how do I feel about this? Whenever you catch yourself twisting your behavior just to please someone else, use these literal questions from the Stoics as your main weapon against that approval-seeking trap. When you get your answer, act on it, because that is what it actually means to live by your own personal values. Moving to part 4, Ancient Tools for Mind Control, the Stoic Framework.
Look, we can't just passively hope these obstacles go away. We have to actively train our minds to fight them, and we're going to use the playbook of Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius to do it. He believed the mind could be our greatest asset or our fiercest battlefield. To keep us from getting caught in the crossfire, he left us these super pragmatic tactics. First, don't blame external factors for your unhappiness. The cause of your frustration usually lies in your own assessment of things. Second, stop being jerked around like a puppet by what others do. Leave other people's mistakes to their makers. Third, choose not to feel harmed, and you literally won't feel harmed. It's up to you. Fourth, limit yourself to the present. The past and future have absolutely no power over you unless you give it to them. And finally, if a false judgment or a negative thought slips in, erase it instantly. Notice how every single one of these tactics shifts the control entirely back into your own hands.
Like Aurelius wrote, it's all in how you perceive it. You're in control. Serenity doesn't come from magically living in a perfect, frictionless world. Total calm comes from changing the lens through which you perceive all the chaos around you. It's about accepting what nature throws at you gladly and fighting only for what your own true nature actually requires.
Let's wrap up with part 5, training your willpower, the biology of the mind.
This is where it gets really cool, because modern neurophysiology proves that the ancient Stoics were biologically spot on about our ability to strengthen the mind. We now know that effortful control is an actual physical mechanism anchored in the brain's salience network, specifically involving regions like the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex. To understand why this is so critical, think about the steering wheel metaphor. Sure, in daily life, our behavior depends a lot on automatic routines. It's kind of like driving a car straight ahead on a highway 95% of the time. But a car without a steering wheel is not 95% as good as a car with one. When you need to repress a bad impulse, sustain focus on a hard problem, or push through uncomfortable physical exertion, you absolutely need that steering wheel of effortful control, just to survive and succeed.
And here's the best part. Just like physical exertion, this capacity can be systematically trained. The strength model of self-control shows that regular exertions of willpower act exactly like training a muscle. The neurophysiological mechanics basically work in 2 steps. Step 1, you decrease the effort costs through practice. By repeatedly doing hard things, whether that's cognitive training, hitting the gym, or practicing mindfulness, the brain regions involved become more efficient. The effort literally starts to feel less draining. Step 2, you increase the value of the effort itself. Through operant conditioning, when you experience a great reward after putting in high effort, your brain learns to value the struggle. Your baseline motivation to exert control skyrockets.
The pioneering psychologist William James hit the nail on the head when he said, "Keep the faculty of effort alive in you by a little gratuitous exercise every day." And that honestly ties its whole explainer together. Self-actualization, overcoming your neurotic tendencies, breaking free from approval addiction. None of this happens by accident. It is the result of a daily, gratuitous workout of the mind. It's a biological and philosophical commitment to keeping your steering wheel fully functional.
So, as we bring this explainer to a close, I want to leave you with one final lingering question to chew on today. What misperception in your life will you erase right now? You have the biological capacity and the philosophical permission to toss it out at will. The page is blank and you hold the pen. Take control and go master your mind.